Hello and welcome to the Unlearned Social Workers. I'm Every Woman Conversation with Girlfriends. I'm your host, Kymberly Amara, and these are my lovely friends, Laurynda, Shavon, Shantelle, and Ashley. And so we just thought that this would be a good opportunity to kind of get on here and share our thoughts with you guys. We've actually been talking for about, I don't know, how long have we been talking, y'all? Like since what, March, April?
April.
So every Thursday we kind of connect just to check in with one another. It kind of started with us just wanting to check in because of COVID. But, you know, now I feel like it's just something that we look forward to doing every week just to kind of touch base. So I'm going to go ahead and start off and introduce Laurynda here because you're the first person I see on my screen. So Laurynda, I've known her for quite some time, and she is the founder of RY4G, and she's also a great t-shirt designer, and she's a motivational speaker and coach. And so you can find out and learn more about her at ry4g.com. Next, we have Shavon. Shavon is a philanthropist, and she also is a licensed therapist or social worker. And so she actually is a, a board of director for Women Empowering Women?
Yes, I am the current treasurer / vice president of Women Empowering, African-American philanthropic group in Tarrant County, Texas.
Shavon, I'm going to actually have these ladies put their information in the chat. I'll link it because you really need to follow these ladies. They're awesome. Next, we have my good friend, Ashley. I've known her for a long time. We go back since, high school. And she is... Yeah, and she's been out in Miami for quite some time.
I mean, trying to age us long time.
Well, just as far as I've known you for over 20 years. So she is actually out in Miami. So she's really living the good life, right? And so she's a blogger and also a sommelier. And she runs the blog Chateau Wino, so you can find out more about her. She's very, very knowledgeable about wine tasting and just, you know, if you need some good charcuterie and you need to know what goes well with what, she's your girl. And then finally, we have Shantelle. Let me go over here. Hey, girl, hey. Okay, so Shantelle is... what did I say about you? This is my old manager. That's how I met her. She used to, keep me in line when I was bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and really a fool. But she she just recently graduated with her PhD from USC, and she is the owner and founder of the Advocacy Zone. And so she'll be doing a lot of great things, offering peer support services and behavioral support services for people in the community. And so again, I will make sure to link all of this information so that you guys have it so you can follow these awesome women. So I guess I should introduce myself. I'm Kymberly Amara. I have multi-passions, but my latest baby is the Unlearned Social Worker because I am a licensed master social worker, and I love to write, I love to blog, I love to talk, I love politics, and I am, Black Lives Matter, and I just love everything. So you'll learn more about me as we kind of go through this, but I didn't want to not introduce myself. So we'll go ahead and jump into this call. We're going to just basically kind of just have girlfriend conversation. You know how you sit up with your auntie and your cousins and you just talk? That's what this is. So it's nothing really too formal, but we just kind of want to share our thoughts and opinions. And obviously we would welcome yours. Okay. So I'm going to check in with you ladies. How has the weekend been so far? I mean, it's Saturday. What's up?
The week has been good. I'm just trying to, excited about being on this call and having the opportunity to share with the world what we do every Thursday. And so I'm just appreciative. It's just been just like a waiting day. I did some folding of the clothes, listened to some music, just kind of vibed out, and so I can get my mind right for this occasion.
Okay. Shavon, what about you?
Oh, I'm excited. I did my 3-mile walk like I normally do on Saturday, so I'm refreshed. Had a little brunch with a friend that's in town. So I'm good.
You did all of that, girl. It's like 3 o'clock.
Yeah, I got more to do. Y'all know I'm always moving and moving.
Shaking and jiving,
Right, I'm always gone.
I'll go next since we've lost Shantelle for a moment. I guess she'll hop back on when she's able. We had a surprise tropical storm roll through Miami. So I woke up this morning to lots of rain and lots of wind. So taking advantage of it, trying to just kind of relax, veg out on some television. I took a nice little refreshing nap. And then I'll probably get motivated later. I'm in this purging place right now. So I want to go through a couple of my closets and just start seeing what I can donate and get rid of. Rainy days are the perfect day for that. But also really excited to have you girls twice in 1 week. What a treat.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, that's awesome. And we still do not have Miss Collins back on the line. That's all right. We're going to keep it rolling.
Right,
Okay,
Dr. Collins.
Yes, Dr. Collins. Thank you for that correction. Okay,
Kim,
so
are you eating in our first Zoom? Are you?
I mean, come on.
This is real. This is real. You can't do anything without the gummy bears, especially what is the Harborough brand? I mean, that's the premium.
I'm saying, what is it? I love they're gooder. Yes, we could, but okay, my bad. I'm sorry. I won't do it again.
Wait a minute. Get that out the screen. Haribo is not paying you for product endorsement.
I was just showing you because I mean, you had said it like I was eating like a whole meal or something. I was just, had a little morsel of something. Just
Really? Are
wet
we really gonna do
palate.
this like right now? Like right
I'm
now, right
sorry. Yeah, we're gonna do it.
Apparently
And
we are.
now? Like right now.
Hold up, wait, Shavon, you better lay low.
This is us, man.
Okay. But anyway, okay, so I have my questions here that we kind of all came up with. So I'm gonna just go ahead and get right into it. So first question here is, I don't even know why this is a first question. I mean, we in quarantine times, but what do you guys feel like dating is like in your 30s? Are you ladies in relationships? Do you feel like, I guess coronavirus has made it better, worse? Because I feel like it's maybe cuffing season came a little bit earlier because we on quarantine. What do you guys think?
I mean, that is a good question, period. How you just gonna downplay because we in quarantine to dating? I mean, people date now. You just have to be creative with the dating process. Like, y'all have like a chef come in and cook for y'all, or maybe y'all cook dinner together. That's dating on a quarantine.
Okay. I mean, all right then, girl. I don't
I'm
know
in a
about
relationship
that.
with Christ.
Huh?
I'm in a relationship with Christ.
Okay.
Oh God.
Okay.
That's why you know why.
Okay. Because he is the head of her life. Okay.
Amen. That's what we're doing. So
I'm in my late 30s, so I don't know if like it's on a spectrum in your 30s. So like in my early 30s, I was going out in a 7-day week. I was out, 5 days a week, just out here enjoying what Miami has to offer. And then now I'm just kind of really more motivated on work, and I know that I'm having a different reaction to COVID than a lot of other people. I'm terrified. So I don't want to go out. I don't want to meet new people. I don't want you breathing on me. I don't want to be bothered with any of that. I have a lot of friends COVID hit and their social life was popping. They're on these little apps. And I was like, oh, so you're doing like the little Zoom happy hour. Y'all cute. Oh no, girl, we go out. You what? You do what? So you go out in a pandemic with a stranger whose movements you don't clock, and then you go home to your family, your kids, like. But again, like I said, I'm moving through this pandemic a little bit differently than some of my contemporaries. So for me, I actually said I was ready to start, getting out there and trying to like figure things out, because I would like to be somebody's wife, maybe someone's mother one day. And then the Lord gave us this here pandemic. And so I said, maybe it's not my time, Jesus. Like
Maybe
the
it's not
next
your
week,
time.
I said it, and then like the next week,
then we was on lockdown.
message received, Father God.
Okay. So then, Shantelle, I know that you're married, but I guess then what would you say to some of us single ladies? I mean, do you think that we should be what do you think we should be doing during quarantine?
Well, I'm not saying it's not okay to meet people during quarantine. However, have to kind of piggyback off of Ashley. It was like, well, you're meeting up with people unless you guys are getting tested and realize that both of you are negative. I don't know what you are and your tests are coming back that fast. But definitely you can be meeting people. You don't have to necessarily meet up, because even if you're in a relationship with somebody you meet in person, you're getting to know them sometimes even before you actually meet up with them. So you could still be getting to know people during this time.
So we need to have an STD, HIV,
Right. All your
and then a
statuses.
coronavirus 19 conversation. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, just because where we are right now in the state of America, because you don't know what you might get. And
That's true.
also might want to explore, and there's nothing wrong with it, but just, find out in the beginning, hey, are you open? Are you fluid with your sexuality? Do you, those things, so you won't get invested with somebody and then it was like, well, you didn't ask me.
So you gotta treat corona like the STDs. Like, you know how you have to know your partner's status before you should be intimate, and how.
What is your COVID-19 status?
That's right.
What is it? Have you been exposed in the last 14 days?
Exactly.
Okay.
Right, and that's kind of everywhere you go, because if you go to a doctor's appointment right now, you got to see that before they was like, can we make it right now? Have you been exposed to, have you been out of the country, out of the state? So why not take that same approach in your own personal life?
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
That's true.
You got to protect you.
That's true.
So do you think then, and this is for all of us, what do you guys feel as far as like stability and like how important is, I guess, maybe finding somebody? Because, I feel like COVID has brought a lot of things to the forefront because people have had more time. Obviously, we're at home to reflect and think about some things. Do you think for yourselves, is it more important that you find somebody and be in something that's more stable since we're in uncertain times? Or has anything changed, or you feel like whatever, it doesn't matter?
I think COVID allowed me to cultivate relationships that I already had. So let people go that wasn't supposed to be there, and then the people that are there, we talk more now. Even as well as like my best friend since I was 11 years old, my two best friends since I was 11, we rarely spoke before COVID because we know we friends. Like, we don't need to talk every day. But now, man, we've been in each other's business so much this week. I'm like, goodness. But I miss having the time because it slowed us all down where we just kind of working, and I'm not physically going to 10 meetings a week. I'm doing them on Zoom. So I got time to answer a call and say, how you doing? So I think COVID allowed me to cultivate relationships, let people go that wasn't even thinking about me, and then keep it moving. So I'm enjoying this time, family, all of that. So all my relationships have actually gotten better because we've been able to talk and I've been present and not thinking about other things. So
that's good.
Yes.
I like that.
I think that's true. I think with me, with COVID, I think it made me more intentional in dealing with relationships and present. Like, I'm more able, like, if I have family members that say they want to hang out, I'm more promised, okay, I'll go. Because you never know. And with COVID, even though, like, again, I've had a relative that's passed with COVID. So it's like, now I'm like, okay, let's go out, let's go have lunch. And yes, you have this fear of possibly catching it, but you could catch it at the grocery store. Like, I feel like you can't stop living. You have to keep pushing forward and living. So I think I'm being more intentional with making sure that I'm present in the relationships that I already have.
I don't think I have that kind of stress because I'm the only person in my family that lives in Miami. So for me, I did become more intentional with my relationships, meeting with you ladies, forming new sisterhoods, making sure that, Kim and another friend of ours, we do a happy hour every Thursday standing. Like, we have made time in each other's lives, where before, like you said, you maybe throw a little meme here and there, you know, maybe check in or whatever. But for me, my concern is if I get it, I'm by myself on a completely different level than people who are, you just can't get to the hospital to see your family, or you can wave at them through the window because they have mild symptoms. Like, I get it. Nobody can come see me. Nobody can come visit me. Nobody can walk this dog that I have for me. And so for me, my focus was just don't get sick. Just stay in the house. Don't get sick, because I need to be well emotionally and physically for my mom. Like, I haven't hugged anybody since April. So, you know, the most meaningful interaction that I have is with a mask on, taking my dog to the dog park. Yeah, at times like this, you don't want to be by yourself.
That's true.
And I have been by myself, alone, but starting to get lonely. I've also had other things to worry about. And so, like, I have not put any thought or attention into dating. There have been a couple of gentlemen who've expressed interest. We're in completely different places in our lives. Like, they're older, they've got kids, they're divorced, they've got all sorts of personal things going on. So
that's the sugar daddy that's coming out.
Right. even in quarantine times, you know, it's not the same thing. I ain't just finna go out with you just because you like me. I gotta like you too. And
Right.
I don't think I have an.
Oh, you don't want the food guy? You don't want the food guy? You know, dude that you go out with just to have a free meal.
Hey.
Oh, I did that in my early 30s. And the cost of living in Miami, unless you're like doing really, really well, like I can afford TGI Fridays by myself. I don't need you.
Yeah, that 3 for $10. I'm sure. I think you got that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
you got it.
It's something you can handle.
I think you can do that.
Oh, $3.99 for an Uber delivery charge. I don't need a dude to help me eat. I would like to have somebody that I could cook for. That would be great. I want a companion. But
so it seems like, you know, we would probably then maybe we would be involved in some entanglements if we was in Miami.
Entanglements.
I'm for real. You remember what was
Sounds
it?
like it.
Jada and August with the entanglement situation. And I know we had talked about that privately, about our own personal entanglements, of course. But and remember, I gave y'all my thing about the entanglements.
Right.
6 and 6.
That's
right. You got 6 months
coming soon.
Listen, it's a real thing. Okay.
Now explain what your 666 entanglement is for those that don't know.
Okay. Well, so the first thing is that the 666 should make you stop, put the pause, because you shouldn't want to even do the program, because 666, you know, should be like, perhaps maybe I should think twice before I engage in these extracurricular activities. But if you decide that you're feeling froggy, you're feeling lucky, you know what I'm saying, and you decide to proceed and collect the $200, I have a simple program that you can go through and you can come out entanglement free, Jesus. Okay. 6 months to engage, you know, get through that whole lovey-dovey, oh, I just love you phase. 6 months to kind of just being like that, you know, we done kind of found our groove. And then it's 6 months to get the hell out and sever ties. So I'm giving you time to kind of, you know, process that this person is no longer going to be a part of my everyday, my normal situation. And so by the time you hit the 18-month mark, you should have successfully been able to untangle yourself from your entanglement. I mean, I feel like that's good stuff.
Right.
It is. It makes sense because that avoids
down into section.
Yeah.
Right, but it's kind of like it's done so you won't get so tied up your feelings. You know, you won't be wondering because the more time you invest, it becomes they're a part of me. It's normal. We've been doing this for years. And
the more you get stuck,
bills, you expecting him to be there on your birthday or do something for you before he got to go home and be with his other situation. it's too much. We just need to.
So who keeps up with as the inventor of 666? Are you keeping up with the calendar? So would you text the client and say, hey, tomorrow is 6 months. Now we start phase 2. Because if a person is deep in an entanglement, they're not looking at that.
But do you tell them that up front that they're in part of a 18-month program?
So they gonna pay for it. Yeah, you got to pay for it.
She letting them know from the start. Now,
okay.
The 666 is the sign not to get involved.
And no different than a bill reminder. Hello, we are.
Can they rebuild? Can they renew their contract?
Right, after 18.
Can they renew after 18 months?
Can they go back to phase 1 if they get in phase 2 3 months in, they don't like? No, because you gotta go back to phase 1.
No, because you're adding more time with that entanglement.
And you
can't carry over to the
next program.
Can't carry over. Okay.
Can't carry over.
You will not be successful in the program, and I might have to refer you out. I have some wonderful therapy friends.
Right. It's like that lease. 18 months, you pay it off.
After that, it goes month to month, and your fee doubles.
Right. You don't want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's all. I mean, and I joke about it, and I know I've some of my good friends who I've known that have been in entanglements. I've given them this great advice, and typically once they start rounding up on month 19, and now they closing in on 2 years, it becomes real problematic. I mean, I'm just being honest. It's real problematic, and now they either got their main situation, and then the entanglement has kind of taken precedent, and it's a problem, man. And so I'm just like, y'all got to do better.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, what do y'all think? I mean, do y'all think that, entanglements aside, what are some of the challenges that y'all feel like y'all are dealing with right now? Just in life, maybe career-wise, personal, friendship. I mean, you feel like you're okay, or what?
Well, for me, I think it's basically, your career. It was like you work jobs because you need to eat and you have to pay your bills, and that's the reality. But it's kind of like you hear people say it all the time, and it's kind of cliche is, hey, if you love what you do, you never work because you enjoy doing it. So I want to get to a point where I enjoy what I do, even though it may be work, but I enjoy what I do, because I think when you're unhappy with the work that you do more than anything else, it spills over into your personal, your friendships, everything that is in with you. That one
relationship. You going to church over there?
that one thing in your life has the effect to affect everything else. So it's like, that's what I want to be with my career. It's like, I want to be able to work and feel like, okay, I'm not working because I love what I do so much. Not saying it's always going to be easy, but it's a difference doing what you love and understanding hiccups are going to come. But it's somewhere where you despise, or you don't care about, or you're not even invested in, it's hard to show up and show out every time you got to go.
Right. I'm just not trading my invaluable time for money.
I was just about to say, you said that the other day.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, I'm just tired of trading that 40 hours a week for X amount of dollars, and you spend more time at work than you do with family, friends, and the things you enjoy. So, I'm always at a crossroads looking for a career change, trying to figure out what that looks like for me. So I don't want to bash my company or anything because my lights are on. I have a beautiful fan here blowing because the lights are still on. But I have to find something because it's wear and tear on my mental health more than anything. So,
well, I think that's important that we, kind of just understand, because even like when Ashley was talking about just being there in Miami alone, and specifically she pointed out the fact that she hadn't hugged anybody since April. I think it's good for us to be aware of, one, our love language, right? Because I mean, for some people that are not as touchy-feely, maybe quarantine and corona might not be such a big issue. But then two, we need to consider the fact that this is my threshold, or this is, my kind of stopping point with these jobs, because I've had a lot of my friends tell me that they're working more during coronavirus as far as like the volume and the production that they're putting out than they've ever before. And I mean, these are people that may have been with a company for 5+ years. They like, I ain't never worked this hard before. And so it is taxing. It is a lot, because my job be putting me through it. So, I mean, I think that's a good point that you bring up as far as personal challenges. And I mean, I feel like career-wise, that's also my issue. Does anybody have anything else that they feel like is a challenge?
Even when we're talking about the job situation, what I've experienced is a lot of people come up to me and say, how do you work your job with such grace? I'm not really a complainer. I'm really like laid back. And so what I had to teach myself and what I taught myself is that my job is a resource. It is not my gift. It is not my passion. It is to meet a need. And we have already negotiated the contract, which is what you pay me hourly. And from this time from this time to this time, I will do whatever you ask of me. And once that's done, then that's done. I'm a contractor. Even though I work for somebody, in my mind, I'm a contractor. You pay me for my time. I get the money and I do whatever as I may with it. But this is not my gift, my passion, or my calling. And sometimes we look for our jobs to validate our self-worth, when you should look for the validation within yourself. And so when you look for a job to validate you and your self-worth, then you tend to have those moments of sadness and sorrow because it's not fulfilling you in the way that you should be fulfilled. And so what we have to do sometimes is change how we look at our job and our position, especially if it's not our gift and our passion. And so in that process, but so now we have to then, once we do that, then take away time for ourselves in the evening or whatever, then to really put that energy into pursuing our dreams and our goals, just like we would sit down and watch TV to watch our favorite show. Well, if you're really truly trying to elevate to the next level, then that's when you need to, instead of watching TV, or then maybe that's when you need to focus on your dreams, so that hopefully you can reposition yourself in a way that you can put yourself in a position that you at least set the foundation to leave your job, or reposition yourself out of that job. Because now what you're doing, the seeds that you're planting in the evening times when you get home, can manifest and grow and get you out of that position.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I mean, that was the elevator speech right there for RY4G, man.
Right.
I'm about to ask Laurynda her rate for some life coaching.
Hey, you know what? That's what I'm working on right now, to get some life coaching certification. And it's hard when you do that, because when you know that is like your God-given talent, and God has blessed you with that gift of just pouring into people, it's hard to pay for something that God has already given you. And
that is like the game we have to play.
I know it is. I know, but it's like, I'm paying you how much to do what?
Just to say I'm
you
certified.
Need to follow this lady. I love this lady. Go ahead, Shantelle. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Now I'm about to say, I follow Mary Big Nail on Facebook.
Oh yeah.
And she's a former therapist, but mostly life coach, and she will tell you how to, I mean, she's awesome at how to make your passion a business, and don't feel guilty about saying, if you rock with me for a month and I charge you $500, watch how your life change. Like, you that confident in your ability to do this.
Yeah.
Like,
that's
give me $500 and I got you. Watch your life change. But if you do the work, though, like, people have to be willing to do
That's true. And a lot of times people have these goals and dreams and aspirations, but they're not willing to do the work.
Right.
You know, God teaches that faith without works is dead. Yep. And so if you don't do the work, you can have all the faith in the world, but if you're not willing to do and you will still say there, you know, I use this analogy all the time, where I was like, you know, somebody's like, God gonna bless me, they got a bill to pay, and God gonna give me, I'm gonna wait on God, and then Joe come by and say, I got $100 for you, do you need it? But I need you to do XYZ. Oh no, I'm gonna wait on God. Then Joe Blow come by and say, well, I got $200, can you do this deal for me? To say, no, I'm just gonna wait on God. And then person like, well, God, I thought I was waiting on you. You said you would provide. We said, but I sent you Joe, and I sent you Joe Blow, and you didn't want to do it.
Yeah,
that was your blessing.
Right.
So then, with that being said, because I'm trying to, you know, keep with my itinerary, that you
don't have to keep with the itinerary. I just put something out
there. But no,
I
think it flows. Because with what you just said, as far as like, you know, following your passion, is actually two things I want to kind of transition into. The first one, though, because we skipped over it, but knowing what we know now as, you know, older grown ass women, you know, in our 30s and 40s.
Don't ever say older grown ass women. Just say like, you know, we're just, you know,
Look, you didn't get hit with that. I've known her for a very, very,
you know what?
very
You should have said
Right.
seasoned.
Just grown ass women.
We're baby
Just grown ass
seasoned
women.
women.
Okay, all
We're
right.
baby seasoned women.
Put ninth
Right,
grade like 30 years ago on you. That's what she did. I heard it.
fine.
She did you, but I wasn't gonna say nothing.
Just
but
I said something. I talked
I
right
had to
over
instigate.
her,
I'm
her
sorry.
little disrespectful introduction. I sure did. Talk right over it.
Had to instigate.
Okay,
Sorry.
so, you know, we are no longer Lowry seasoning. We are Slap Your Mama and Tony's. And
so much.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm Mrs. Dash, baby. I'm trying to cut back on all that salt. But go ahead.
okay, yes, no, low sodium. But
I'm Himalayan sea salt. I got nutrients. I'm salty, but I'm good for you.
Yeah. The one of the questions was, what would you tell your younger self? You know, like that girl that was getting ready to graduate high school, or, you know, you were your first day, you know, when you was at college or whatever, you was a freshman. Like, what would you tell her, especially coming from the generation I feel like that we come from, and just how the world has changed so much? Because I mean, social media wasn't a thing. And so
you had to wait to get the news.
Know now,
boy,
and we could do all of our dirt in secret.
Imagine if social media was available during the Freaknik days.
Oh no!
Everybody's reputation would still be
canceled.
Yes. What if it was available in the Freaknik days? Ooh.
Right, because you'll be like, oh, but I wasn't as bad as them, but look what you was doing.
Yeah, what is it, the action mixtapes and the 90s R&B parties, and you just out here popping for pimp and popping on a handstand. You shouldn't be doing all of those there things. Yeah, no, we shouldn't be
We're
doing
definitely bleeping out Kim's commentary right there.
But look, but when Luke and the 2 Live Crew came on, that was not something you want people now to know how you behave.
Well, I think my generation, anytime you hear from the 99 and the 2000, it is y'all, it's so difficult for me, and I've never been a big dancer, but something about Juvenile's voice.
You'd be like,
I'm gonna back that thing up
in my head. That's like, you know what? It's okay. It's okay.
Any song that celebrates a curvy woman,
yeah,
had me on the dance floor.
So Sister Big Bones had you on the dance floor?
All of it.
Big Bone.
All of it.
That's funny.
She got curves to her, so anything that celebrated a woman's posterior, her derriere, I was out on that dance floor losing my mind.
But what was your question? We done went off. Oh, yeah.
What would you tell your younger self?
I would tell my younger self to go away to college. I was afraid to go because of financial circumstances within my family. And so I stayed home and went to the local university. I started at Dillard University in New Orleans. So I stayed home because my parents, definitely were not at the status where they are now. Thank you, Lord, for that. And it was like, if you go away, you're going to be eating them noodles, and I didn't eat noodles, and you don't have a car. I mean, they pointed out in everything that I wouldn't have, but I was never, and I'm first generation college student, so I never knew what could be, right? But seeing my younger sister go away to college, and like her experience and being like the face of her school and being all the pamphlets and joining stuff, I was like, man, I wish I had that. So I think I would have told myself to go away to college. Don't worry about the guy you're dating. Don't worry about finances. Just figure it out, because you wind up paying for college anyway. I'm still paying.
Right.
So.
That part, right.
Right, and it seemed like Shavon just stole my thoughts, because that's what I was gonna say. Go away to school, because I stayed at home, because it wasn't about because of my parents, because I moved out my second semester of college, but it was like, I'm in love with this dude. I'm married to him now, but I'm in love with this dude, so I'm gonna stay here in this state. But seriously, I knew in high school I didn't want to live there, and I wanted to go away to college and experience college life. But I was so serious. So I would tell that younger person, go away to college, have fun, live a little. Don't take everything so serious because you got the rest of your life to be serious.
Mm-hmm.
Amen.
I would tell my younger self not to be scared. My parents decided where I was going to go to college. I didn't have a say so at all. And you took somebody from a very small, sheltered town and dropped me off in LaDroit Park in Washington, D.C. And I was terrified for like the first 2.5 years that I was at Howard, just because the culture shock was just too much. And I didn't join things. I didn't travel, like friends that, lived, I'd never been to New York at that time. Friends would say, hey, come home with me. I know.
Close.
I know. I didn't go anywhere. And then the one weekend that I actually did go away with a friend home for the weekend, I was assaulted. So, and that was like freshman year. So I just never did it again. I didn't go anywhere. And then I had a safe major. And then ultimately when it came time to graduate, and I realized I'm really great at being a student. I don't know how I'm about to be an adult. Like, what does that even mean?
Mm-hmm.
I let my parents decide what the next steps for me would be. And that wasn't what I wanted to do. And I'm still paying for that mistake now. So I would just say to be more fearless, because you're going to be okay. And then maybe that would have given me the opportunity to discover something that I'm passionate about. Laurynda and I had this discussion the other day. Some people like, I know this is my call. I know this is what God wants me. I have none of that. None of that. There is nothing right now that like is building inside of me that I know is my gift to give to the world. Like, I don't have that. So I go to work every day, show up and do what I'm paid to do. And then I log off and, wake up the next day and do it again. And I think that things could have been different if I just pushed past the fear at that age.
That's good. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Renda?
If I had to give my 18-year-old self some advice, I probably would say I didn't go to college. I never really wanted to, just because I know I'm not that disciplined in the sense of just commitment. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna tell my truth and shame the devil. That's a really commitment, and it's an even greater financial commitment. But what I would tell my younger self is learn how money works.
Mm.
And learn how to invest, because I'm a numbers person. And if you learn how money works and you learn how to invest, start investing and doing it now at 18, 19, 20 years old, so that when you get to a point where you don't want to work, you have enough money in the bank and through investments and just and building a portfolio that you don't necessarily, you won't have to struggle, and that you can relax. And I think that's one thing that we don't really do with teenagers, is teach them about money, how to budget, what credit card debt. And I wish if I could mentor my younger self now, I think that's where I would go. Because if you know how money works, you'll never be broke.
Yep.
So
That's true. And I think we all are doing that. I know I've been doing that the last maybe 5 years or so, just really learning more about money, investing, home ownership. Like, that's my big thing now, is owning stuff. But that's so true. I often wonder, had I known what I know now,
you'd be a millionaire, girl.
Listen, I wish, but it's okay. I mean, we are fared well without that knowledge. But I look at my younger brother. My brother's 18, and so everything that I don't know, you best believe that boy know it. I mean, I didn't know at that time. That boy know it. I think he got more money in the bank than me right now. He just,
That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
he
you
works
didn't put
and saves.
So
Right.
take that from the back.
Yeah, like even with health being healthy, I had me and my sisters all had like a moment where we was obese or whatever, right? And so my brother came along and started watching. When I started eating oatmeal, I started working out. My brother is fine right now. Like, he didn't have the obesity crisis that we had. So I think, like you saying, Laurynda, learning those things and then teaching other people, teaching the younger generation, so they don't even have that issue, is just dope.
For sure.
Yeah.
Kim, what would you tell your younger self? Because you don't just get to ask the questions.
I've been answering the question. I feel like I would definitely tell myself to be more confident in my abilities. Especially since, because my mom died at 19. So there are parts of me now at 36 that literally feel like I'm stuck in, like I'm still a 19-year-old girl, because there are things that I know a lot of my friends, there's something about them as women that I just don't have because I didn't get it. And so I would definitely just tell her to just stand in who you are and be confident and don't worry so damn much, because I know I can worry into the high heavens. I'll worry somebody under the table. And so I mean, because there's so many opportunities that you miss when you get caught up in the nuances of just like, low self-esteem and, just self-confidence not being there, and you question, you doubt yourself. It's just too much. So there's always going to be somebody for everybody. I mean, just like Beyonce's got her tribe, and Rihanna's got her tribe, and Cardi's got her tribe. If you just do what you want to do and you pursue your goals, you pursue your dreams, the people who are attracted to you and who are for you, they're going to find you. That
is so true.
That's what I would tell myself, just not to be scared, to just be myself, because I've always been an awkward Black girl. And so
I think that's so true. And like, even what you're saying, that all I could think about is just teaching, and I'm working on this now, and this is a very difficult thing for me. It's teaching myself how to be vulnerable. And because we didn't grow up in the social media age. We became a part of that later in life. Like, we didn't really grow up with internet. It was a luxury to have internet in your household when we was growing up.
With the running man.
And that dial-up, babe, you couldn't talk on the phone or nothing. You couldn't do two things.
I'm gonna call you back.
Right.
So we didn't grow up in this, and it's amazing to me, especially when you're dealing with people in their 20s and how open they are. And I wish that I could be like that. I think, because of that, it can help you grow your business, but it's allowing yourself to be vulnerable and just being open and just being transparent, not only with yourself, but in public. And that's really what social media is the public, and allowing yourself to just be vulnerable. And I think that's something that I try to work on daily. But when I hear Kim talk, that's what I'm hearing, like just being vulnerable and being confident in who you are as a woman.
There's definitely that, but I also feel like that confidence that these younger people have is a product of their environment, of their upbringing. Like, I feel like we were kind of the last generation that was told, go to school, get a good job, get a house, get married, and if you do everything right, this is what will happen, because that's how it had been in America for the last 60 years. And all of that just came crashing down on us between 2005 and 2008. And the life that we had been told we could have just ceased to exist. And
for sure,
the younger kids, they only know this society, a hustle society, got to have a lot of different things going, kind of whatever. They were exposed to the bottom falling out at such a young age that it kind of, in my opinion, it forced them into entrepreneurship. It forced them into that hustle, that gig mentality, where they can do 3, 4, 5 different things at once. There is very little that is taboo about what they can discuss on social media, because their whole life
is on social media.
And for us, we still see stuff and we go, might not have wanted to put
social
that on the interweb.
We had to have a whole come to Jesus meeting before we did this call. We was like, wait a minute now.
Right.
But
I think it's because also how we were raised too, because my daddy was a firm believer. It was like, what happens in here this is where it stays.
Yep.
So even with that, and when you talk about vulnerability, because of course I'm in this leadership program at work, and they're talking about Brene Brown and her ability is one thing she talks about, even within leaders, not just incorporated with being an authentic self. Because it was like, if you're a leader, how can you ask your staff to do something that you're not willing to do? And there are leaders that feel like, I'm the leader, so I don't have to do it.
Well, no, they're the boss. They're not a leader.
So it's like, right. But it's like, you have to be vulnerable enough to say, okay, if you in the trenches, I'm in the trenches with you, and we gonna come through this together.
Oh, we at least gonna figure it out.
Right, right. So, you know, we weren't allowed to be, I know for me, my daddy was tough, and we were all girls. And, you know, thinking back, it was like, because when I got older, it was like, I'm going to cry if I want to. I'm in public.
Your daddy didn't let you cry either, Shantelle?
Yeah, it was like, it was a sin. And it was like, so when I got older, it was like, people was like, why are you crying all the time? It was like, I'm human. I can show my emotions how I want to, because I had to you know, being young, and it was like, why he was so tough and we was girls. So I mean, I felt like that. And then you'll hear people who knew him, and they'll say, well, you know what, all y'all turned out right. Look at y'all, you know, if he wasn't so hard. And they on the outside looking in was like, okay, we turned out all right. But it was like, y'all don't look at the emotional piece of it. Came out responsible adults, went to school, went to college, that type of thing. But it was like, for somebody to suppress that emotion all the time, come on, man.
Yeah. I don't think I had my first real good ugly cry until I was in college. And I kept trying to, I don't even remember what happened. Just something happened, and I just wanted to break down. And I just kept pushing it down and pushing it down and pushing it down. And then one day I just exploded. And I've been crying ever since. Y'all gonna get these tears, and it is what it is.
It made me feel a little bit better. It's like taking your soul to the laundromat.
But I'm also a Pisces, and I'm a Harel. And you have to be able to gauge what kind of crying I'm doing, because there is the crying like I'm hurt on the inside, so I'm going to just let the tears fall. And there's I'm crying so I don't kill you. Cry.
Oh, that's Candy. That's Candy whenever she get mad on the housewives, that ugly, like, I'm just upset. And I don't really, like, you don't want to hurt somebody cry.
I don't swear for it. I ain't seen it, but
I ain't seen it for years, but
I have to tell people, like, I am not crying because I'm sad. I'm crying because I am mad. You know, like, you have to
have that moment.
No. Yep.
So, Kim, what were you gonna say?
Well, so I was actually going to, you know, because I'm responsible for keeping us on schedule. And
who planned the schedule? How did you break this down? Was there a call that I wasn't involved in?
No, Laurynda actually told me this is what I needed to do. So I'm just.
Oh, then I will trust Laurynda.
So
I just didn't want it to be like a 10-hour call like you do on Thursdays. So I just was trying to feel like, you know, we just
don't be the shade tree that was just gone.
Y'all good for getting on at 11 and not getting off the 4. I'm just saying, I didn't been on the call. I know how it happens sometimes.
Man, so you're gonna edit that because hello. Anyway, so I actually wanted to ask the question or pose the question. I can't remember now which one of y'all said it, but you were kind of talking about how the younger generation, because they kind of grew up where hustle and grinding was kind of just normalized for them versus for us, we were told to go to school, get education, all that. They are more open, and so they may present with more confidence, especially with growing a business or starting a business, and even just the marketing piece of being online and social media. And there's really little to no discretion. But and this is transitioning over, because, you know, we just had the versus battle with Brandy and Monica, and then you have Gladys and Patty that are coming up. And so what I've noticed is that there are a lot of
can't wait to see Patty this.
But anyway, I'm sorry. There's a lot of, I know for me, nostalgia, but then like lamenting the fact that, like, damn, what happened? You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like we came up in, you know, the 80s, baby, 90s, just what happen. Excuse my French. But these young kids, and I know I sound like my mama, but these young kids just don't know what they missing. And you know, just thinking about Brandy and Monica and just how epic that was, and like how music has evolved to really, in my opinion, just not be creative. It sounds like, you know, everybody's doing the same thing. And now we're going to have Gladys and Patty come, and they're going to just really show us how it's supposed to be done. I mean, you know, what do y'all think about what do y'all think about that? I mean, because I feel like there are obviously some benefits, but there's so much. I don't know that I would change the generation that I grew up in, or what I lack in trying to figure out this whole entrepreneurship thing and some of the nuances of just trying to be more like self-confident, because I do feel like we were conditioned in a certain way versus what the kids are now. I don't think I would change that, because I feel like some of the things that we grew up with were timeless. Like, these are moments that I always refer back to now during this pandemic to kind of escape the stress and the nuances of just going through this. And I'm like, I don't know that I would want to pull up Migos or Moneybag Yo or NLE Chopper to, you know, decompress.
You don't want to pull up WAP?
I'm not going to say that on this call, but I'm not a fan. Now, the 80s funk version that I shared on my Facebook is...
Oh, y'all talking about WAP. That's what, okay. I was like, wait.
WAP. I don't know how you say it. I don't know if you say WAP or WAP.
It's WAP.
I thought it was WAP.
It's
okay.
WAP.
But it's, I mean...
It's whack.
Okay.
I like the song.
I mean, I like it. I don't have a...
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, City Girls Talk to Me is better than WAP.
So I've never heard that. I don't even know what's on the radio, because I don't listen to nobody's albums. I just know what's on the radio. I just, you know, I like Cardi B as a personality. I like Megan as a personality. Like, when you hear Megan speak about college and what she's trying to do outside of whatever, like, wow, they are really business women. So I like the business side to them. I think more than anything. When a song come on the radio, I sing to it, but I'm not on Tidal like downloading it or nothing. Right. I just can't.
I feel like the same way about Kevin Gates. Like, if you ever listen to him, like, interviews, he's a very intelligent person.
Very.
But when it comes to his music, I'm like, that ain't really me. But
I don't think I know who that. I don't know who that.
I got 6 jobs. I don't get tired.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Kevin Gates. I love his interview. I love how he thinks. But then when it comes to that music, and then, you know what? I agree with Kim. I don't think I'm an 80s baby. And I don't think I would ever take away that, because I feel like we were the last generation that had real grandmas, and being able to go to the summer and spend the summer with your grandmother, and she take you everywhere she go, and you was just like an accessory, you know.
And we could get our white soul food from Luby's. Hello.
Even if you didn't want to be there to
see, we didn't eat out. In New Orleans, we eat out. It had to be your birthday.
Well, that's because you always have access to good cooking.
Yeah, and we lived with my grandma, so I mean, we lived there.
And, you know, so like, I'm like, you know, nowadays your grandma be 33 and still in the club, and you be like,
She ain't the grandma, she the glamma.
Yeah.
Right.
That's what they call themselves. Yeah. I'm the glamma.
No.
Yeah. I have a cousin.
Like, how that work?
Her daughter got pregnant in high school, and she was like, I'm too young to be a grandmother. So her grandchildren call her Gigi.
Yeah, that's another one.
Because she was like, I'm too young to be a grandmother. And I'm like, well, obviously not, because, you know.
Yeah, well, it's hard for me to relate. My mama didn't have me until she was 26. And then my little sister at 27. So it was like, I can't really, you know, this young mother type.
My mama had me at 19, but she was always old school though. So
yeah, there's some people that couldn't do.
Yeah, I couldn't listen. I told her the other day, I couldn't get a second piercing until I made 18. You were not coloring your hair. You could not go here. My best friend told me the other day, I remember calling you one time and you was punished and nobody could tell me why. They just said you don't talk. So my mom was very strict and old school.
Oh, okay.
Both my parents, because they the same age. So yeah, My mom was 19, but she was not playing with me. But now that translates into her being like one of my best friends. So,
right.
You know, we good, and I've turned into her. So that's a whole nother conversation.
I think the 90s were the last feel-good decade, which is why there's been so many 90s remixes. Like, you know, the music is being redone, movies, television, because things weren't so...
I'm the man.
Oh,
I said 90s, so I liked it. Martin Long, really?
I wasn't allowed to watch it as a child. So
I forgot. I'm a little older.
There were just so many iconic.
Living Single.
Living Single, yeah.
Like Living Single, I was a Cosby
Girlfriends.
Girlfriends for sure. Which
I mean, we had nights.
So many options, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
It was definitely more family oriented in the 90s.
Things just were easier.
You had to be intentional because there wasn't no recording unless you had a VHS that was doing all of that. So you had to be home on Tuesday at 7 o'clock to watch what you wanted to watch, or you had to wait till the next week. Now you could just, like, I pop up and just watch stuff. Like, I remember TGIF. I remember watching everything that came on Friday, from Full House to Steve Urkel.
CW on Sundays.
Yeah, you were trying to hurry up and get home so you wouldn't miss.
Yep.
Yeah, listen.
Parents would order Mr. Jim's pizza, and we'd sit there on the floor of the den, and you know, I mean, and that was when we could break because we had a bedtime. The Harrell children were in the bed at 8:30. Period. But on Fridays we could stay up till 9 because that was how long TGIF went. I mean, as a kid, you know, because my parents were not playing with that. That bedtime was not negotiable. Wasn't no more water to be had, no more baths to be taken, no more books to be read. Your ass is in the whole bed by 8:30. And if I was like, but I'm not sleepy, my mama would always say, close your eyes and you'll fall asleep eventually. That was it. That wasn't, you know, and then you wake up Saturday morning and you watch your little cartoons. Maybe they went and got you some little donuts from down the street. You know, it was just simpler times. You could go outside and play. Nobody was worried that you was going to be snatched or anything like that. When we were kids, we dressed like children. We weren't dressed like little miniature adults. We could get dirty. We drank out of the water hose. Like, I feel like that's why our immune systems are so good now, because we were out there playing dirt, doing whatever else. These children grew up in a Purell sanitized society where everything has to be on internet, and you 13 years old talk about taking a selfie. Girl, where you have acne?
Right, because we entertained ourselves during that time. We went outside and played, and whatever was out there, you rode your big wheel, your bike, or whatever you had.
And you use your imagination.
Yeah.
You did.
Even when you go back to like the movies and stuff, like there was no real hair and makeup budget. You know what I'm saying? Vivica showed up how she showed up. Flyaways and everything. You know she had that fresh press, but it's okay. You didn't have a Malaysian, yucky, wavy, premium, whatever it is. Like, it was just, I don't know. I miss it so bad. I'm just like, damn, what happened?
You could look at these women and say, these were like, it wasn't something where you looked at, you could say you look beautiful, but it wasn't like, oh, I wonder who did her lips. I wonder how she got her ass done. Oh, look, I wonder if she's doing a body wrap. Like, they, like, you know, like Lynn Whitfield, like she's still Vivica, oh my God, gorgeous. These women are stunning, and they're aging beautifully. I mean, Angela Bassett, even if she's had a little work done, it is very tasteful. And we will probably
agree.
Vanessa Williams, Vanessa Bell Calloway. Yeah.
Yes. I was watching Soul Food last night, and I was looking at the cast of Soul Food, like just when I was watching it. They all were just pretty. They all just
naturally too.
Right. Like, you know.
Now we got like this and contour this and inject this and lift that and enhance this, and I'm like, baby, you don't know how you finna age. You did all that in your 20s. When you get to 40, you're gonna look crazy.
By 25, you're gonna be falling apart.
Yeah, they ain't thinking that far though.
They better look at K. Michelle, how she took all of her implants out and stuff, because she was saying, you know,
it was making her sick though.
Right, it was killing her literally.
Yeah, I just, oh God, I miss it so.
I mean, I'm all about body autonomy, and you can do whatever you want, but I miss, like I said, the 90s were easy. I mean, I grew up in a household where I was watching stuff like Dawson's Creek and stuff like that, but like,
I don't want to wait.
I know, right? Like, but just like real simple times. Like, I remember going down by the creek with my friends, like just walking around, poking stuff with a stick. Like, you know, it was just, things were just so simple. And that's why I had such a rough
Kim, you so extra.
That's why she really is.
We need to have a moment.
90210. I used to love 90210.
Both versions,
Oh my
the older
God,
version.
No, I never watched the new one.
Saved by the Bell, the new class, the college years, all of it. I love that stuff.
Hang Time.
Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman.
Now listen, I watched Dr. Quinn today. It come on the TV. I'll be right
In
there.
the heat of the night.
In the heat of the night. I'm sorry.
And now one of the stars. Y'all notice
right there.
That lady in there is she being a lot of Tyler Perry stuff.
You talking about the in the half and the have-nots lady?
Yes.
She came from the heat of the night. The mama.
Light skin.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Oh,
she
you
dark
talking
skin.
about what is it? I'm gonna get you sucker when she took off all this.
Nah, not her. I'm talking about
the lady in Haves and Have-Nots, and she was in that other movie that he just did not too long ago.
A Fall from Grace.
Oh,
that's
the
it. Her.
chick
She was
on
in the heat of the night.
Yeah, man. Where she had the bad wig on, and everybody was like, "You got to walk."
You so silly. I can't, Kim.
She's a whole fool.
I can't, Kim.
Wait, listen. God must be in this conversation because Tyler Perry is literally the last item on this. And the fact that we just so happened to land on the sister that had the bad wig in the Netflix movie that just so happened
the
to
movies
be
are chock full of bad wigs for men and women.
Okay, so it's horrible. So the guy that Grace was dating, that was Felicia Rashad's son, he was on the game, and he was so fine on the game with his bald head, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Why did Tyler Perry decide to put that MC Hammer wig? It's a cross between MC Hammer and Jermaine Jackson because it got the Jackson shoe polish. The man
Shavon, log out.
looks beautiful by himself. Like
look, I didn't know the man was bald headed, but you right, he did have a bad wig. I don't know. I felt like it was a cross between somebody in the 5 Heartbeats.
Okay, I see that.
Y'all not fit to do that.
Is there a heart in the house tonight stand up?
Right, because it was kind of wavy, fade-ish, and then it had a little.
Then it had nails in the back.
Wait.
But our heart is a house for love.
Right.
A heart is a
house full of love.
And
I've learned. Y'all better say it. Look, but wait, ain't nothing compares.
I love that movie.
Nothing compares to Shamar Moore's.
That's the worst
braid
one.
wig.
You talking about with them braids?
Like the Fall from Grace wig is worse than Shamar's braid wig.
Oh, you right.
I think it's worse than was that Mad Black Woman or whatever?
Diver Mad Black
Fall
Woman.
from Grace bad wig and see what comes up.
Yeah, the guy's wig was
that's
worse
the wig that he used to wear on the stage.
That comes up immediately. You start typing in "Fall from Grace bad," it's like wigs.
Yeah. Google even petty. So there you go.
Those are the same wigs that was on the Medea stage plays, and the mic used to be right there at the forehead and chest. Listen.
But the crazy thing is, I'm gonna talk about Tyler, and then I'm gonna go ahead and watch whatever he got coming out anyway. So I ain't even.
There is an actual article that says Tyler Perry explains decision behind wigs for a Fall from Grace characters after receiving backlash. This is
what
not
was the explanation?
Ain't none
for giving his male actors bad hair.
Well, what
ain't no explanation.
What was his explanation? Seriously, like why did Tyler decide that this was?
The harshest criticism was directed at Mehad. I don't know how to pronounce this man's name, which was described as, quote, a sponge dipped in black hair dye.
Told y'all.
He's bald in real life, and the wig that gets plonked on his head for the movie looks like and I quote, cheap, ill-fitting rug. But Tyler revealed there is a reason for that. According to his character would have chosen exactly that kind of wig to cover up his lack of hair. And that's that. The character picked the wig.
The character picking
somebody else.
Brother looks really good in real life with bald hair.
Yeah,
With a bald
right.
head.
So yeah,
They
so
just
it's
said
like
that Tyler Perry's bad wigs must be his good luck charm.
It got to be because he a billion. So maybe I need to write something because he a billionaire. So
that is no
I'm going on to
excuse
it tonight. Any of the new material as far as the 10 shows on BET, I may have passed by have and have nots because my mom watches it. I did go to the farewell play because that was something my family wanted to do. He had never had the opportunity to go see one of his live plays, and that was more of a. I think when I think of Tyler Perry, I always think of Madea. I'm going for that laugh. I'm not looking for quality. I'm not looking for a big storyline. I'm looking for when Madea turns into Tyler Perry, he says something like this. So I'm not really, when I think Tyler Perry, I'm not looking to be educated sometimes like I would with a Spike Lee. Or I'm not looking to be just, I don't know, wild by something. I'm just looking to be entertained in something corny and funny. So, I mean, if you really into some deep stuff, he ain't the one you want to go with. But if you looking for some deep stuff when he's just regular Tyler and he's talking to Oprah or TD Jakes, he's your boy. But entertainment, that's what I like. Entertainment wise, or even when I read his book, I think Madea wrote a book maybe
I read that too.
years ago. I remember reading that and it was funny, but it had some good solid joints in there. So when I think Tyler Perry, I don't get too deep in it. I think, man, here's a brother really cranking out all that he can while he's young enough. So by the time Tyler about 50, 55, we ain't got to see him no more. And he gonna have somebody else running the studio and Arnisha or something running it. I don't know if he got.
I feel like what is the issue with Tyler is the same way that therapists feel about Ayanla is how people who are true to the art form they feel about Tyler. And
you've exploited it.
Yeah, that's honestly because
I mean, but I think his stage plays were good. I thought those stage plays were good and well put together. It's just when some of it started shifting and he started making movies and different stuff, that's when some of the quality kind of got a backseat.
I mean, that's all I think. I mean, I'm still mess around. We a Madea household, so I'll mess with Madea all day. Right. I just know that
it's that family member you talk about, Tyler, that family member, like we love him, but we gonna talk about you over here.
And that's all it is. That's still all love because I love what he does outside of his artwork and the content he creates. I love how he gives back to the community. I mean, so I just be thinking like with Tyler.
Yeah, even
we at least get some premium Yaki.
That costs Kim. We buying it in bulk. We not getting premium Yaki. Costs too much.
He can afford it. He can afford
it. Y'all stupid.
They reusing them bundles.
Listen, I'm looking like Toto from Wizard of Oz.
Not Toto.
I'm just playing.
Well, I'm glad you guys could come on here and just I guess talk with me and we can enjoy each other for another day during the week, but I don't have anything else. Does anybody else have any closing words, any final remarks, crisis, comments, complaints, feedback?
This is your altar call?
Right.
Listen.
Flash your buckets around virtually.
This is the altar call for the panel.
What if you can't tell I grew up in the church?
Right. Everybody come down and drop your virtual coins.
As we come to a close.
Right.
Hilarious.
And if not, we'll take Cash App, Zelle.
Okay. I'm so bad at that.
PayPal.
Hilarious.
What is it? You can use your Bible bucks to
Bible bucks.
Bitcoins.
Hilarious.
Phone, Kim. Bible bucks.
Right.
I'm just saying.
Like Bahama bucks, snow cone bucks.
Listen, we'll whatever. We'll have Bible bucks, Christian cash, and whatever else we need to be able to make it through. What is it? You know what? We're gonna set up a Patreon, like our homegirl, so we can attach it to the video, and so that people can support us. Because I mean, I've supported less. And this is
true.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but yeah. So okay. Are you guys good? I mean, I'm
We're good.
Yeah, I enjoyed this conversation today, and hopefully we can get together and do it another time.
For sure. Well, I'm so thankful and glad that you guys are able to hop on. And so, I mean, if there's nothing else, I'll just talk to you guys next time.